All right, let's dive deep into zinc carnosine today. You're interested in gut health, right?
Yes, very much so.
And, well, we've got two sources to dig into, one from that popular Dr. Berg and another from a scientific journal. Should be interesting to see what they say.
Sounds like a great combo. Dr. Berg always brings that enthusiasm, while the journals are, well, more focused on the research.
Totally. And since you mentioned some concerns about your gut, especially with the long-term NSAID use,
Right, right.
we'll keep an eye out for anything relevant to that.
Yes, definitely. I'm also curious, is zinc carnosine actually better than just plain zinc, or is that, more hype than anything?
Let's jump into Dr. Berg's take first. He's like a total zinc carnosine fan, calls it a gut health superhero. He mentions studies showing it fights inflammation and promotes healing and lists like 7 gut health benefits. Some are pretty basic, but a couple really stood out to me.
Ooh, I'm intrigued. What caught your eye?
Well, first off, the idea that it can heal ulcers and even fight H. pylori bacteria. Now, I knew zinc was good for, skin wounds and stuff,
Right?
but Dr. Berg suggests zinc carnosine works inside the gut, too.
Interesting. H. pylori can be a real pain to deal with. What's the mechanism he suggests for how it works?
He says it helps your gut produce healthy mucus that acts as a barrier against, stuff like stomach acid and those bad microbes.
Ah, the mucus layer. Not the most glamorous topic, but so essential for a healthy gut.
Exactly. So Dr. Berg explains that while zinc itself supports the gut lining, that combo with L-carnosine makes it even more powerful. Apparently, it actually gets into those mucosal cells and makes them produce more mucin, the stuff that mucus is made of.
So it's like giving those cells a boost to build up their defenses.
Exactly. And there's more.
Hmm.
Dr. Berg also highlights how zinc carnosine can help with, leaky gut, which you've probably heard of.
Yeah, that term gets thrown around a lot.
It basically means your gut lining is more permeable than it should be, letting stuff leak into your bloodstream that shouldn't be there.
Right, which can lead to inflammation and a bunch of other issues.
Exactly. And Dr. Berg claims zinc carnosine can actually reverse this. He also says it can speed up wound healing inside the gut, not just on your skin.
Fascinating.
Oh, and he recommends taking 40 to 80 milligrams twice a day with food for better absorption.
Okay, so those are some pretty bold claims. Let's see what the scientific paper has to say about all this.
Perfect timing, because the study we have actually used cell and animal models, which is, pretty standard.
Yeah.
But STT, they also did a small human trial, which adds a lot of credibility, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Cell and animal models give us clues, but seeing results in humans is really key.
And guess what? This study backs up some of Dr. Berg's claims. They found that zinc carnosine boosted cell migration and proliferation. These processes are basically essential for repairing the gut lining.
Okay, break that down for me.
Think of it this way. Cell migration is like sending in a construction crew to the damaged area.
Gotcha.
And proliferation is like those workers multiplying to get the job done faster.
Great analogy. So both sources agree on the whole gut repair thing.
Yeah. But here's where it gets really interesting, especially since you mentioned being concerned about NSAID use.
Yeah?
The human trial in this study found that zinc carnosine actually prevented gut damage caused by NSAID meds.
Wow, that's big. So many people rely on those meds but worry about the gut damage.
I know, right? And get this, the people taking zinc carnosine had no increase in gut permeability, meaning their gut lining stayed intact.
Impressive.
But the placebo group, they saw increased permeability, meaning damage was happening. It's like the zinc carnosine was shielding their gut from those harmful effects.
That's a powerful finding. Makes the whole zinc carnosine is more than hype argument a lot stronger.
Right. So we're seeing promising evidence for zinc carnosine, both from Dr. Berg and the research side.
We are. But before we get too carried away, it is just one study, and a small one at that. We always need more research.
For sure.
Plus, we got to address the potential downsides, that not-so-fast part of all this.
You got it. We'll dive into those cautions and considerations next time. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. So, we saw some pretty cool evidence for zinc carnosine, right? Especially for protecting against that NSAID damage.
Yeah, definitely promising stuff. But before anyone runs out to buy it, we got to cover the potential downsides. Both sources agree it's generally safe, but there are a few things to keep in mind.
Right, like some people get, some GI discomfort,
Yeah.
nausea, upset stomach, that kind of thing.
Yeah, if that happens, probably best to stop taking it.
For sure. And then there's the allergic reaction thing. It's rare, but possible.
Definitely. Rashes, hives, trouble breathing. Gotta watch out for that.
Absolutely. And anything severe like wheezing or swelling needs immediate medical attention, no doubt. And then there's zinc toxicity, right? It's unlikely at the recommended doses, but something to think about, especially if you're already taking other zinc supplements.
Sure.
Nausea, vomiting, headaches. Those are some of the signs.
Yikes. It's weird to think something good for you can also be bad in high amounts.
I know, right? Balance is key, like with anything.
Here's something neither source really answers, though. What about long-term use? Like, is this something you take forever, or should it be, more cyclical?
That's a great question, and honestly, the research doesn't give us a clear answer. It really highlights the need for more studies on the long-term effects of this stuff.
Makes you think, huh?
It does. It's definitely a conversation to have with your doctor. Speaking of things to talk to your doctor about, let's circle back to leaky gut for a sec.
Oh, yeah. Dr. Berg claimed zinc carnosine could actually reverse it. The paper was a bit more cautious, saying it just improves gut barrier function.
Right. But remember how we talked about it strengthening the gut lining, reducing inflammation? Those same mechanisms could be at play here.
So by boosting that mucus layer and helping those cells repair themselves, it could help seal up those gaps, so to speak.
Makes sense. And that study showing it prevented NSAID damage. That same protection could be beneficial for leaky gut, too.
It all kind of ties together. It's a pretty compelling argument.
It is. But as promising as the research is, we got to be careful about overstating things. We need more evidence.
Of course. It's definitely an area that needs more investigation. Lots of potential there.
Totally agree. Now, before we wrap this part up, I'm curious about Dr. Berg's claim about zinc carnosine helping with H. pylori. Any insights from the scientific paper on that?
Unfortunately, no. Their study just focused on NSAID damage, so they didn't look at H. pylori specifically.
Ah, too bad. It would have been interesting to see if the research backed that up.
I know, right? But even without that confirmation, the overall evidence for zinc carnosine's gut protective effects is still pretty strong.
Yeah, no doubt. And if improving gut health with something like this could have effects beyond just digestion, well, that opens up some really exciting possibilities.
Like what?
Think about it. Could it impact our immune system, our mental health, even our energy levels?
Whoa. Now that's something to ponder.
It is. And we'll delve into some of those broader implications in the final part of our deep dive, so stay tuned.
All right, welcome back for the final part of our zinc carnosine deep dive. We've covered a lot, but there's one more thing I'm really curious about, that connection between zinc carnosine and leaky gut.
Yeah, leaky gut. It's a hot topic, that's for sure. But we should probably start by clarifying what it actually means, because the term itself can be a bit misleading.
It does sound kind of dramatic, right? Like there are holes in your intestines or something.
Exactly. It's not really about holes. It's more about increased intestinal permeability. So the lining of our gut is supposed to be a barrier, right? Letting nutrients in, keeping the bad stuff out.
Right.
But sometimes those tight junctions, the things that hold the gut lining together, well, they can get a bit looser. And that's when we see this increased permeability of the leaky gut.
Ah, so stuff that shouldn't be getting into the bloodstream starts leaking through.
Exactly. And that can trigger, an immune response, leading to inflammation all over the body. It's been linked to, like, so many things. Digestive issues, allergies, even autoimmune conditions, and mental health concerns.
Wow, that's a lot. So where does zinc carnosine fit into all of this?
Well, both Dr. Berg and that scientific study we talked about suggest it could play a role in addressing leaky gut.
Which makes sense, considering everything we've learned about it strengthening the gut lining and, reducing inflammation.
Right. It's all about promoting that healthy mucus layer, enhancing cell repair, helping restore the integrity of that gut barrier, basically tightening things up.
Dr. Berg even said it could reverse leaky gut.
Yeah, he did. And while we need more research, there is evidence to suggest it can really improve gut barrier function. Remember that human trial, the one with the NSAID damage?
The one where the people taking zinc carnosine didn't see any increase in permeability.
Exactly. That same protective effect could be happening with leaky gut too. Like it's giving that extra support to keep the gut lining strong.
It's pretty amazing to think that by addressing leaky gut, we could be tackling so many health problems at their root.
Yeah, the potential is huge. It's an area that definitely needs more research, but the fact that both Dr. Berg, who talks to a wider audience, and those scientists are highlighting this connection, well, it makes you think.
It does, and it really fits with everything else we've discussed about zinc carnosine and gut health.
It all ties together, right? Now, as we wrap up our deep dive here, we should emphasize that while zinc carnosine seems really promising, it's not a cure-all.
Definitely not a magic bullet.
It's important to be realistic about any supplement, look at the benefits and the potential
Yeah,
downsides.
of course, talk to your doctor.
Always, always. They could help you decide if it's right for you and figure out the dosage and all that.
So, to sum it all up, zinc carnosine seems to do a lot for gut health. Strengthening the lining, reducing inflammation, maybe even addressing leaky gut and protecting against damage from those NSAIDs. It's definitely something to pay attention to.
It really is, and it just shows how something that seems kind of simple can have such a big impact on our health.
It highlights how everything in our bodies is connected, right? If you support one system, like the gut, it can have effects everywhere.
Totally. There's a reason people call the gut our second brain. It's involved in so much, from digestion to immunity to our mental state.
It really underscores how important it is to prioritize gut health. It's not just about, avoiding an upset stomach. It's about overall well-being.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And maybe zinc carnosine can be a part of that journey to better gut health.
Well, we've reached the end of our deep dive into zinc carnosine. We hope you found it insightful and maybe even a little bit thought-provoking. Remember, knowledge is power, but it's most valuable when you use it wisely.
Absolutely. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and stay curious.